Welcome to the Whurthy Services training video series. This is Module 1, the Staff Experience. In this 6th video, we're going to walk through Whurthy Task Master. We'll start by overviewing tasks in Whurthy Services. We'll then look at the My Tasks page, and we'll finish out the video with a quick look at the Team Tasks page. With that said, let's take a look at what tasks are about. One of the features central to Whurthy Services is something that we call Task-Centric Workflow. With this design intention in mind, Whurthy Services utilizes tasks in two main ways. First of all, the most simplest use of tasks is to support team members in tracking personal tasks or to-do items. So we are going to have a look at that in the next part of the video. However, more importantly, what the task-centric workflow allows us to do when it comes to activities that need to be undertaken is for us to assign those activities, such as approval or follow-up tasks, to specific team members. So in combination with the process expertise profile list and the learned experience engine, so PEEP and LEAP, this allows Whurthy to assign the right task at the right time to the right person. All of these features come together in this design idea that we call task-centric workflow, with the intention of making your life easier as a user of Whurthy Services. So with that said, let's dive in and have a look at what this means. So normally, when we are looking at different features, I often call you to take a look at the right-hand sidebar, Whurthy links, and go down to the administration section. We will do that in a minute to look at team tasks. However, on the home page, when you click on, up here we've got Whurthy Services, but this may well be your logo. If we click on the top left-hand corner here, this in effect takes us to what would be considered the home page. Now, there are two main sections to this page. We've got My Tasks, and then we also have these useful links. Now, these only show to staff. And so when we look at My Tasks, we can see, first of all, we've got this Add a Task button, and we can see there's currently one active task listed below. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can use the task feature as a to-do list, as a way of keeping notes of things that you want to do. This is the simplest use of the task feature inside Whurthy Services. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Add a Task button here. And what this opens up is a format that you're going to see through tasks, even when they are tasks assigned as a part of a Whurthy Services workflow. A task will have some form of title. So when you are creating a task as a reminder or a to-do item, you can enter whatever title you want inside here. In the next field here, we can see task priority. By default, it's listed as to normal. We work from the basis in this design intention. We basically felt that if there was something that was important, you'd mark it as high. If there was something you wanted as a reminder, but maybe you'll get around to it later on, you might knock it down to low. But for the most part, we would expect that tasks would be entered in with the priority as normal. Speaking personally, I make use of task priority quite a lot, and I find it quite helpful to mark tasks as high priority that I know I need to get on sooner rather than later. And then I will use the low priority as just a reminder of an idea that I'd like to look at, but it's really not pressing, but it's still going to be in my list of tasks. And I use this, for example, when we are looking at different or new functionality for the Whurthy suite of products. Then the next row, we can see we've got 4 fields here. We've got status, the due date, the assigned team, and then assigned to. So I'm going to walk through each of those. So task status is pretty straightforward. By default, it will start as not started. But when we check on it, we can then see we've got in progress, deferred, and completed. Now, as is the case with many of these fields in this task feature, you can really use these fields in the way that makes most sense to you. But the basic design idea here is if I want to put a reminder together, I might create a task and leave it as not started. In other words, I'm just entering a task because I want to have a reminder for that task later on, but I'm not ready to start working on it. But I could also enter a task and just mark it as in progress. If I'm working on a task, typically the status of deferred, I will typically use that status not on a new task, but on a task that I've been working on. And then something came up and we were waiting on something or something unexpected happened and there's going to be a delay. So that's typically the intention behind deferring a task is we're saying we're going to get back to that later on, but I don't want to lose track of it. And then finally, when you complete a task, obviously you're just going to change its status to completed. Now, that will have a bearing on where the task appears, as we're going to see in a minute. So I'm going to put in a new task here. So task demo, need to record a video on tasks in Whurthy Services. I'm recording that video right now. So yeah, I want to get that done. I'm going to mark it as high priority. And I've already started recording it because I'm creating the task as I am recording the video. So I'm going to mark that as in progress. Here we get to see a due date. We're entering the date that we're aiming to complete the task by. So I'm aiming to get this done today. This assign team field is optional. Now, you could put your company name in here, or if you have different departments or teams within your organization, then you can fill this however you want. The basic idea is that this is just a free text field for you to use however you want to use, and it would allow you to sort of have some simple organization around that. In the assigned to field, here we've got a list of all those accounts that in effect are staff members. And so what this allows us to do, I could select myself here and I've assigned this to myself, but you could quite easily put in someone else's, select another staff member's name and it will be assigned to them. So again, only those accounts that have been made staff, and we review that in the Whurthy security video, but only those accounts that have been made staff will actually appear in that list. And the final two fields here, we've got two big text fields. And so the first one is task description and the second one is actions taken. Now you'll notice this task description has a little asterisk by it. This means it's mandatory. That means you do have to enter in some information into the task description field. And so the basic idea is this might be more more detailed. So what I might do is pull that out here, task video demo, task video and demo, and then I can drop that text in there. And of course, as is often the case, we've got all the formatting in the ribbon here, lots of things that we can do. The actions taken field is optional. This just allows you to be able to track the actions that you've taken. And so if that's of use to you, make use of it. And with that said, I can go ahead and just click on the add task button. And this now is taking me to the actual task detail page. I've got the success flash message. I can see all the information I entered. And then I have the ability to edit the task from this page or even add a new task. Over on the left-hand side here, I can go back to the task list. The final thing you'll see is that there's actually a task history log. So every time someone comes in and makes a change to the task, it will let you know the task was manually created by Kerwin on this date, and then it tracks additional information in terms of its status, its priority, its due date, and who the assigned user was. And so every single time there's a change made, that log will grow. So it gives you a little bit of almost like a paper trail, but that's actually central to the workflow or the task-centric workflow aspect of Whurthy Services. So now I'm going to review the team tasks feature. So to find that, I'm going to look over to the Whurthy sidebar there on the right, and under administration, the very first link will be tasks. And so whereas with the My Tasks link at the top there, I got to see just my tasks, now I get to see all tasks, including the one that I just entered. And so in here, I can see alongside the add a task button, Whurthy is telling me I've got 2 active tasks. I've got 4 completed tasks. So when I go and click on that 4 completed tasks, it will take me to all of the tasks that have been completed in the past. So those are just maintained from a record keeping point of view. And then again, we can see now the message has changed. There are currently 4 completed tasks and 2 active tasks. So that's now a hyperlink back to the active tasks. And inside the active tasks page, we've got this useful filtering tool. And so what I can do is in the task title, I could type in the word video, for example. You can click on the filter task button, but when you actually enter in a text field like this, I can also hit the enter key and it will now do a search. It will then let me know there is 1 task with video in the task title field. and it's now a clear search button that appears. So now that is showing me that task with the word video in the title. I can clear. I can also search tasks by assignee. Now, in this case, there's only one assignee shown because only one staff member account has tasks assigned to it. As that grows, more names will show. And we can also search by status and by priority. In your review of the Whurthy Services training videos, you will come across certain automated functionality in Whurthy Services, such as canceling bookings, canceling for location and whatnot, where it will make use, Whurthy Services will make use of this task feature. And so when you are managing tasks manually, that's different from, say, managing tasks inside a particular automated workflow. The task page may look a little different, but a lot of those elements will remain. So for example, even workflow tasks will have a title, they will have a status, but some of the workflow tasks will have specific fields that are unique to that workflow. But rest assured, the instructions for each of those tasks will actually tell you. So here's a good example. I can click on this follow up for cancellation request for a particular location. And this was a task that was created earlier on. And as a part of the way that we've built Whurthy Services, this task, when it's assigned by workflow, it brings instructions. And that's when we were reviewing or overviewing the task feature inside Whurthy Services. That's what we really meant about getting the right information to the right person at the right time. So all of these workflow tasks will actually have instructions that are specific. So at the top here, we can see those fields that we did look at, you know, the idea of the task and the priority, the status, the team, and who was assigned to. This, however, was built by Whurthy Services for the person assigned the task. And then in description, there was a whole bunch of information that was automatically injected into that task that you don't have to worry about. It's all built for you. And this is covered in another video. So don't worry about following all of this. Assuming you watch the entire Whurthy Services training video series, you will come across the video that resulted in all of this task description being built. But if I scroll down to the bottom, this is a little different because there actually is specific fields that are added that are specific to this workflow. And then right at the bottom, you'll see the task history log. It's quite different here because now the workflow is actually listing specific details relevant to that workflow. So I'm not going to dive into all of that for this video. What I wanted to do here was just to review the basic idea of tasks as a to-do feature for you to be able to manually use as you want to keep a track of things that are related to the business, related to Whurthy Services, following up with a customer, whatever it may be. This task feature is available for you to use, and it's also available as a part of what Whurthy does to help make sure that value made easy.